the clerk's bony hand reaching out to take it. His appearance was unsettling, his skin pallid and his eyes sunken. He didn't speak, only gestured toward the key he'd placed on the counter. It was old-fashioned, with a metal tag bearing the number 13. I didn't care about the superstition, I just needed a place to rest. Taking the key, I mumbled my thanks and headed down the dimly lit corridor. The hallway stretched on endlessly, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched from the shadows. The room was as dismal as the rest of the motel, with a sagging bed and moth-eaten curtains. I locked the door and sank onto the musty mattress, my exhaustion finally catching up to me. But sleep eluded me. The silence of the town outside was deafening, broken only by the occasional howl of the wind. I was jolted awake by a sound outside the window. It was a soft tapping, like fingernails on glass. Heart pounding, I crept over to the window and peered outside. There, standing in the moonlight, was a figure. It was the same gaunt man from the front desk, his eyes fixed on me with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. I stumbled back, my heart racing, and fumbled for my phone to call for help. But there was no signal. I was completely cut off. Panicking, I considered my options. There was no way I was going to open that door and confront the man outside. Instead, I reached for the room's landline phone, praying it still worked. I dialed 911 and waited, the seconds ticking by like hours. No answer. The tapping on the window grew louder, more insistent, and I realized with horror that there was more than one figure out there now. The motel was surrounded. My mind raced as I scanned the room for anything I could use to defend myself. But the room was empty, devoid of any weapons. In my desperation, I grabbed the heavy lamp from the bedside table and held it like a makeshift club. The figures outside continued to tap, their pale faces pressed against the glass. I couldn't see their eyes, but I could feel their malevolence. Hours passed, the tapping and my fear intensifying. I was trapped, alone, and terrified. The night had taken a sinister turn, and I had no idea what these figures wanted from me. All I knew was that I had to survive until morning. As the first rays of dawn began to break through the curtains, the figures outside retreated into the shadows. I watched them go, my grip on the lamp never wavering. When they were finally gone, I collapsed onto the bed, my body trembling with exhaustion and fear. I had survived the night, but I knew I had to leave that accursed motel as soon as possible. The town and its malevolent inhabitants were not a place I wanted to stay any longer. With shaking hands, I packed my bag and made my way to the car, never looking back. The engine roared to life and I sped away from that forsaken town, the memories of that night's horrors forever etched into my mind. I didn't know what I had stumbled upon, but I knew one thing for sure. I would never take a detour on a lonely road at night again.